Ezekiel 47. Then he returned me to the entrance of the temple, and water was emerging under the threshold of the temple, going eastward, for the house faced eastward. The water ran down from under the right side of the temple, south of the altar. Then he took me out through the northern gate and led me around the outside to the outer gate by way of the gate that faced east. There was water trickling out from the right side. As the man left to the east with a measuring rod in his hand, he measured 1,000 cubits and led me across the water, ankle-deep water. He measured another 1,000 and led me across the water, knee-deep water. He measured another 1,000 and led me across waist-deep water. He measured another 1,000, and it became a stream that I could not cross. For the water had swollen into water for swimming, a stream that could not be crossed. He said to me, "Have you seen, O son of man?" He then led me and returned me to the bank of the stream. Upon my return, behold, along the bank of the stream were very many trees on one side and on the other. He said to me, "These waters go out to the eastern region. They descend to the Arabah and go to the sea, to the spreading sea, and the water will become sweetened. And it will be that any living thing that will swarm wherever these streams flow will live, and the fish will be exceedingly abundant. For these waters will come there, and they will become sweetened, so that the fish may live wherever the stream goes. It will happen that fishermen will stand by it, from En-Gedi to Ain Eglaim. They will be spreading places for nets. Their fish will be of as many species as the fish of the great sea, exceedingly abundant. But its swamps and pools will not become sweetened. They will be set aside to provide salt. Along the stream will grow every species of food tree on its banks, on one side and the other. Its leaf will not wither, and its fruit will not fail. Every month it will yield new fruit. For its waters will go forth from the sanctuary. So its fruit will be for food, and its leaves for healing. Thus said the Lord Hashem Elohim, this is the boundary by which you shall allot the land for inheritance to the 12 tribes of Israel, 2 portions for Joseph. You shall inherit the land, each tribe equal to his brother, about which I raised my hand to give it to your forefathers. This land shall become yours as an inheritance. This is the boundary of the land, on the north side, from the great sea by way of Hethlon, to the approach to Sedad, Hamath, Berothah, and Sibraim, which is between the border of Damascus and the border of Hamath, and Hazer Hadikom, which is on the border of Haran. The border shall thus go from the sea to Hazar Enon by the border of Damascus, with the northern border extending northward to the border of Hamath. This is the northern side. The eastern side, between Haran and Damascus, between Gilead and the land of Israel, the Jordan, you shall measure from the northern border to the eastern sea. This is the eastern side. The southern side, southward, from Tamar until the waters of Meriboth Kadesh, to the stream, to the great sea. This is the southern side, southward. And the western side, the great sea, from the southern border until opposite the approach to Hamath. This is the western side. You shall divide this land among yourselves, according to the tribes of Israel. It shall be that you shall allot it as an inheritance, for yourselves and for the strangers who dwell among you, who will bear children in your midst. They shall be for you like the natives among the children of Israel. They are to be allotted an inheritance with you among the tribes of Israel. It shall be that the tribe within which the stranger has settled, there you shall allot his inheritance. The word of the Lord Hashem Elohim. Ezekiel 48. These are the names of the tribes. At the northern end, near the way to Hethlon, to the approach of Hamath to Hazar Enan, to the northern border of Damascus near Hamath. This shall be for him from the eastern side to the west. Dan, 1 portion. Next to Dan's border, from the eastern side to the western side, Asher, 1 portion. Next to Asher's border, from the eastern side to the western side, Naphtali, 1 portion. Next to Naphtali's border, from the eastern side to the western side, Manasseh, 1 portion. Next to Manasseh's border, from the eastern side to the western side, Ephraim, 1 portion. Next to Ephraim's border, from the eastern side to the western side, Reuben, 1 portion. Next to Reuben's border, from the eastern side to the western side, Judah, 1 portion. Next to Judah's border, from the eastern side to the western side, shall be the sacred portion that you shall set aside, 25,000 wide, with a length equal to one of the other portions from the eastern side to the western side. The sanctuary shall be within it. The sacred portion that you set aside for Hashem shall have a length of 25,000 long and a width of 10,000. This shall be the sacred portion for the Kohanim. 25,000 on the north, 10,000 wide on the west, 10,000 in width on the east, and 25,000 long on the south. The sanctuary of Hashem shall be within it. This hallowed place shall belong to the Kohanim of the sons of Zadok, who safeguarded my charge, who did not stray when the children of Israel strayed, as the Levites had strayed. It shall be a separated portion for them, out of the sacred portion of the land, holy of holies, next to the border of the Levites. Now, for the Levites, opposite the border of the Kohanim, 25,000 long and 10,000 wide, the entire length being 25,000 and width 10,000. They shall not sell any of it, nor exchange, nor transfer this choicest of the land, for it is sacred to Hashem. The remaining 5,000 in width by 25,000 in length shall be secular for the city, for settlement, and for open space. The city shall be within it. These are its dimensions. The northern side, 4,500. The southern side, 4,500. The eastern side, 4,500. And the western side, 4,500. And the city shall have an open space, 250 to the north, 250 to the south, 250 to the east, and 250 to the west. The remainder of the 25,000 length alongside the sacred portion, 10,000 toward the east and 10,000 toward the west, which runs alongside the sacred portion, its produce shall be for food for those that serve the city. The worker of the city shall serve it on behalf of all the tribes of Israel. The entire sacred portion, 25,000 by 25,000 square, you shall set it aside as the sacred portion. And the property of the city, and the remaining area of the strip shall be for the prince, on the one side and on the other of the sacred portion, and the property of the city, alongside the 25,000 of the sacred portion to the eastern border, and westward, along the 25,000 to the western border, parallel to the tribal portions, shall be for the prince. And the property of the Levites, and the property of the city shall be within that which belongs to the prince. Between the border of Judah and the border of Benjamin shall be for the prince. As for the rest of the tribes, from the eastern side to the western side, Benjamin, one portion. Next to Benjamin's border, from the eastern side to the western side, Simeon, one portion. Next to Simeon's border, from the eastern side to the western side, Issachar, one portion. Next to Issachar's border, from the eastern side to the western side, Zebulun, one portion. Next to Zebulun's border, from the eastern side to the western side, Gad, one portion. Along Gad's border, along its southern side, southward, the boundary shall be from Tamar to the waters of Meribath Kadesh, to the brook of Egypt, to the great sea. This is the land that you shall allot as an inheritance to the tribes of Israel, and these are their divisions. The word of the Lord Hashem Elohim. These are the exits of the city. On the northern side, the measure of 4,500. The gates of the city shall be called by the names of the tribes of Israel. 3 gates to the north, the gate of Reuben, 1, the gate of Judah, 1, the gate of Levi, 1. And the eastern side, a measure of 4,500, and 3 gates, the gate of Joseph, 1, the gate of Benjamin, 1, the gate of Dan, 1. And the southern side, a measure 4,500, and 3 gates, the gate of Simeon, 1, the gate of Issachar, 1, the gate of Zebulun, 1. The western side, a measure of 4,500, and their 3 gates, the gate of Gad, 1, the gate of Asher, 1, the gate of Naphtali, 1. The circumference of the city is thus 18,000, and the name of the city from that day shall be Hashem is there.
Ezekiel sees that, this thing is going to happen, so there's no need to lose hope. They have been promised a new covenant of peace instead of judgment. This is brilliant. We just need to know what that looks like. Okay, so there's Gog, Magog, a series of wars. This is what is predicted for the future. This sounds like it's going to be the end. And this is in keeping with the theme of hope. It will be on this day, a day of misery and destruction, that the people will actually know God. So there is a fair amount of instruction given for the redemption. It reads a bit like Exodus and Leviticus, setting up the system, remembering the sanctity. But this time, God will make it so that they can fulfill his ordinances. And it will be through the new heart and through the Spirit. These guys were meant to be something. Through misunderstanding or through malice, they became something else. What they are, interestingly enough, is exactly what the rest of the world is, men struggling to be good. Or what we like to just simply call heathens, for lack of a better word. These guys had the rules and the power with the atonement sacrifices to be better. This was the part that hinged on the obedience. But the promise is that if you believe in them, then you will live by them. And this never happened. The failure in fulfilling their end of the agreement is absolute. Their destruction is imminent. It's done. Ezekiel takes us from the existence of an impending exile into the destruction, and then afterwards paints a picture of what is going to be the future, and it's a picture of hope. It's a picture that includes the possibility of even being able to do it. A new arrangement is being provided to them in consideration of these failures. And this is great. I mean, this is what we're looking for. Peace, happiness, prosperity. But the destruction comes first. Thank you for watching. The book of Daniel is next. The NQE is out.